After the shooting in Charleston, South Carolina, of course, a number of public figures and members of the media are having discussions about race. They're having discussions about words like the N-word and also the Confederate flag. Now, Don Lemon opened up one of his segments doing something that was a little unconventional, and it led to a firestorm. Take a look.
This is CNN Tonight. I'm Don Lemon. This is what America is talking about right now. Does this offend you? It's a Confederate flag. Is it a symbol of Southern pride or a symbol of hate? And then, what about this? Does this offend you? This word. President Obama said it out loud in an interview, and a lot of people are shocked.
Racism. We are not cured of. Clearly. And it's not just a matter of it not being polite to say nigger in public. That's not the measure of whether racism still exists or not.
Tonight, the two stories on everyone's radar, a word and a flag. A flag that is flying tonight on the grounds of the South Carolina State House.
All right, so that's how the segment started. And people were like, there's a sign with the N-word on it. Now, when I first...
It was a little jarring.
It was jarring. I mean, because you don't see people in the media saying that word, even if they're quoting someone who did say that word. They didn't say N-word. They said the word out loud, completely sounding it out. The media will usually censor it and say N-word, right? And I think that they do that to err on the side of caution. They don't want to offend anyone. But I think that this actually opens up a really interesting conversation. It's a conversation that we've kind of delved into a little bit on the Young Turks. When you are talking about a news story regarding extreme racism, should you, as a member of the media, say the word when you are quoting someone? And I have a policy of always saying the word because I don't want to minimize the impact of what someone says by, you know, sugarcoating it with N-word. And so Don Lemon had this debate with someone on CNN. She's a legal analyst who absolutely disagrees with using the word under any and all circumstances. Let's take a look at that video.
On our very network, Wolf, you know that this term was not used. It wasn't something that journalists could use, and it wasn't something that we aired on our network. But now, because the president said it, I have heard that word, a very hurtful word, over and over and over again just today. It is right. It is right.
No, I disagree with you. We have been able to use that word on this network for the entire 9 years that I've been here.
We haven't done it.
We haven't done it. I've used it. I've done it the entire time that I've been here. And the guidance has been, if the anchor is comfortable saying the word, the anchor can say the word on this network. That has been the guidance.
Don, we had a correspondent a couple of years ago, and I've been here for 6, 7 years.
Said
and that correspondent was not was reprimanded for using that term.
No, she was not. She was reprimanded for using an expletive, not for using that word.
That's even worse, Don, because that means that using an expletive is worse than using a racial epithet.
But it's not. She was using the no. If she was on television calling someone that word, then yes, she should be suspended for it. But if she's on television using that word in context as to what someone said or what was used in a court of law or what have you, then no one should be suspended for that. We should not sanitize that word by saying this person called such and such the N-word. No, that person didn't call that person the N-word. That person called Sonny. I know you're going to get upset. That person called you or that person a nigger. They didn't say the N-word.
I can't believe, Don, that you, as an African-American man, is going to use that word just so flippantly. Because we're using it. And you should know that.
I do know that.
Interesting debate.
Yeah. So I was ready to rule against Don Lemon. In fact, in the morning, I came up with a poll. Don Lemon, thoughtful provocateur or lemonhead. Okay.
I don't even know what that means.
Okay. Everybody in America knows what that means. Okay, I should have had signs. Thoughtful provocateur, lemonhead. Okay, anyway, but because Don Lemon has a history of not being overly thoughtful, okay? And so I thought, here it is, CNN jumping in. Oh boy, not doing well in the poll so far. But hear us out, hear the whole story, okay? I thought, CNN thought, oh my God, the president said the word, and we've got a black anchor. He could say it. We could do a sign. Oh, who's the intern they assigned to go make that sign? Was he black? I don't know. Inquiring minds want to know. Anyway, and it's going to get a lot of attention. They jump in. Don Lemon also jumps into a lot of stories that gets a lot of attention. Confederate flag, N-word, etc. I mean, it was ready-made for sensationalism. But I agree with you, Anna. You watch out the segment and you go, well, that actually was a thoughtful conversation. I mean, that's a conversation worth having. It's one we've had here. And I think we both agree with Don Lemon, right? That
I do agree with Don Lemon.
I think you should use it in its proper context.
And I absolutely despise that word. I would never use that word on my own in any type of sentence. The only time that word has ever been uttered by me was when I was reading someone else's racist statement. And again, I think it's very important to not sanitize someone's racist statement. And what Don Lemon said there was absolutely true. Why are you going to do someone a favor by saying N-word when in reality they said the full word? I think that that has more of an impact than anything else. And so I think that that was a good conversation to have. And look, I think that when we talk about race and we talk about things like the Confederate flag and the N-word, yes, those are symptoms of racism in the country. But getting rid of those two things isn't going to solve our race problems, right? These are very minuscule things that we're focused on, but there's a much broader issue that I don't think we're focusing on enough.
Yeah, of course. Everybody totally glazed by what President Obama actually said, which is that we've got this 200, 300-year history of racism. We're not going to get rid of it overnight. Let's be thoughtful about how to address it. Everybody's like, N-word! He said N-word! Oh, my God, let's talk about the N-word.
It's like we're elementary school kids, right? Like we hear a bad word and we freak out over it. No, listen to the message, because the message was important.